In 1966, the World Cup's solid gold trophy was stolen right in London, just months before the tournament was set to kick off. The police launched a massive investigation for days, but the one who actually found it wasn't a detective. It was a dog named Pickles who happened to sniff out the trophy wrapped in old newspaper, hidden under a bush in suburban London. And that is just one of the countless crazy facts about this tournament. Welcome back to the channel. Today, join me as we count down the 10 craziest facts in World Cup history. 100% true, even if they sound completely made up. Fact 1. The trophy was found by a dog. The story began in March 1966, when the Jules Rimet Trophy was on public display in London. The solid gold trophy was stolen in broad daylight. British police launched a massive, high-profile investigation, but for days, they had absolutely no leads. Finally, a man named David Corbett took his dog, Pickles, out for a walk. Pickles sniffed out a package wrapped in old newspaper hidden under a bush in front of the yard, and inside was the missing trophy. Pickles became a national hero and even appeared on television. His owner received a cash reward that was actually more than the bonus the English players received for winning the tournament that year. Fact 2. The World Cup can cause a baby boom. It sounds absurd, but real data proves otherwise. In 2006, Germany hosted the World Cup. 9 months after the tournament ended, the country's birth rate spiked by 10%, whereas the normal annual population growth was less than 1%. Researchers attributed this to a combination of the celebratory atmosphere, non-stop partying, and the intense national pride of watching the home team play on home soil. In other words, the World Cup doesn't just change the scores on the pitch. Sometimes it quietly shifts the host country's demographic charts. Fact 3. The highest scoring match in World Cup history. The score of this game looks more like a basketball match. In 1954, Austria faced Switzerland in the quarterfinals. The match ended with a staggering 7-5 victory for Austria, a grand total of 12 goals in a single match. This remains an unbroken record for over 70 years, even though modern football uses much tighter defensive tactics compared to the 1950s. Imagine watching a game where a goal is scored every 7 to 8 minutes on average. That is exactly what the audience witnessed in 1954. Fact 4. The most penalized match in history. This one took place much more recently, in 2006. In a round of 16 match between Portugal and Holland, the referee handed out a total of 16 yellow cards and 4 red cards, a record completely unprecedented before or since. By the end of the match, so many players had been sent off that rivals from both teams were spotted sitting next to each other on the sidelines, casually chatting about their shared fate. The media later dubbed this infamous match the Battle of Nuremberg, not for its tactical display, but for its unbelievable number of fouls and penalties. Fact 5. A team literally missed the boat to the first World Cup. In 1930, Egypt was the only African team invited to participate in the inaugural World Cup in Uruguay. However, the team never played a single match. The reason? A storm in the Mediterranean Sea delayed their travel, and the ship that was supposed to take them to Uruguay departed without them on board. Egypt had to wait a whopping 60 years, until 1990, to finally debut at a World Cup tournament, all because they missed a single boat. Fact 6. A team doctor knocked himself unconscious. Also at the 1930 World Cup, during a semi-final match between the USA and Argentina, an American player was injured, and team doctor Jack Hall rushed onto the pitch to administer first aid. In his haste, he dropped his medical bag, breaking a bottle of chloroform right in front of his face. The anesthetic fumes knocked him out cold on the spot. As a result, instead of the injured player being carried off, it was the doctor who had to be carried off the field by the team, completely unconscious. Fact 7. The first World Cup had no qualifiers. All you had to do was sign up before the deadline. In 1930, FIFA sent invitations to all member nations. They just needed to confirm their participation by February 28th, with no qualifying matches required. However, because the journey to Uruguay was so long and expensive, most European teams declined the invitation, with only 4 European nations agreeing to travel. The final lineup consisted of just 13 teams, a tiny fraction compared to the 48 teams participating in the 2026 World Cup. Fact 8. A king personally selected a national team lineup. King Carol II of Romania viewed participating in the 1930 World Cup as a matter of national honor and personally intervened to pick the squad. Going even further, the king personally negotiated with employers to guarantee that the players wouldn't lose their day jobs upon returning from the tournament. This is perhaps one of the rarest moments in sports history where a monarch acted as a national team selector. Fact 9. Nearly half of humanity watched a single tournament. This spectacular feat belongs to the 2010 World Cup. According to official FIFA statistics, around 3.2 billion people worldwide watched at least 1 minute of the 2010 World Cup in South Africa. That figure was roughly 46% of the global population at the time, a viewership scale that almost no other sporting event has ever achieved. No concert, no broadcast, and no TV event can unite nearly half of humanity to watch the exact same thing at the exact same time, quite like the World Cup. Fact 10. A historical milestone happening right now. The 2026 World Cup is making history in an unprecedented way. This is the first time in the tournament's entire history that it is being hosted simultaneously by 3 nations: the USA, Canada, and Mexico. From just 13 teams at the inaugural tournament in 1930, this year's edition has expanded to 48 teams, nearly 4 times the original number. And as this video airs, it is highly likely that the next crazy piece of World Cup history is being written somewhere out there on the pitch. From a trophy found by a dog to a doctor accidentally drugging himself, World Cup history proves that the stories off the pitch are often just as fascinating as the drama on it. And these are just 10 out of the hundreds of fascinating facts accumulated over the 96-year history of this tournament. For me, the coolest story is still Pickles the dog, a random coincidence during a daily walk that became a permanent part of football lore. It's a great reminder that legendary history isn't always written by grand plans, but by accidental, tiny moments that no one sees coming. The 2026 World Cup is underway right now, and who knows what crazy moment is waiting to be written into the history books in the upcoming matches. So, let me know, out of these 10 facts, which one surprised you the most? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for spending 10 minutes with me today. See you next time.